Welcome to the World History 1 lecture series. At the end of each slide there will be a 10-second delay. Use this time to pause the presentation and complete your notes. When you are done, push play and you will move forward. This lecture will begin in 5 seconds.
Welcome to World History 1 Lecture 3.2 on the development of Indian civilization, and we start by talking about the greatest game in America, the National Football League. You know, the NFL. 31 professional football franchises playing in massive stadiums and led by tremendous athletes who make ridiculous amounts of money doing what they do because of ginormous television contracts. It's hard to imagine the NFL getting any bigger than it is today. We could even say we might have reached the golden age of football. But it's not like the NFL started this way. We started way back here in 1920 with the very first American professional football team. And then in 1958, the greatest game ever was played in Yankee Stadium. That game was between the Baltimore Colts and the New York Giants in the National Football Championship. And then we took it one step further with the AFL-NFL merger and the first AFL-NFL championship game, Super Bowl I. So what you should see here is that things don't just start great. Things start small, like the NFL, and then they grow into something incredible. Civilizations do the same thing, and what you'll see today is how India started small and reached its golden age. With that said, go to the next slide. Let's go back to the beginning of Indian civilization to see how it grew. But we're going to look at something else as well. Whether or not people accurately record their history. Here's the history that you need to know. The Aryans are a nomadic people who will use the Khyber Pass to invade the Dravidians, who are farmers in the Indus River Valley, around 1500 BCE. And once the Aryans are there, the Dravidians will teach the Aryans how to farm. So it's only a matter of time before we have urban culture and civilization. We also have Sanskrit, which is written language. This is developed during this time. But historians question whether this event, the Aryan migration theory, actually happened. There are some people who say yes, the Aryans did invade the Dravidians. This is the actual history. But there are other people who say that this is a story which was made up so that one set of people could do better than another set of people. One portion of the population could keep down the other portion of the population due to this story. Which one is true? We are still trying to figure that out today. Go to the next slide. The next step in the growth of Indian civilization is the development of a class system, and the Indians developed something called a caste system. The caste system is a rigid class system that prohibits movement between the classes. Now here is the caste system. On top are the priests, then we have the warriors, then we have the merchants, then we have laborers, artisans, and servants, and on the bottom we have people called untouchables. These people are so low on the caste system that everybody else is afraid to physically touch them for fear that they will also become untouchables. A person's caste is based on heredity and it does not change. You are born into your caste and you will die in your caste. And the system applies to all social interactions within society. How strong is this class system? This system is still around in rural parts of modern India. Go to the next slide. Now that we have an agriculturally based civilization and a rigid class system, we need one more thing to really push India into its golden age, and that's going to be a written tradition. Ancient India develops a written tradition that carries it into its golden age. And the literature that develops during Indian civilization, this is around 1200 BCE, there are two books. One's called the Vedas and the other one's called the Bhagavad Gita. These two books are going to be really important because they're going to be the foundation for India's predominant religion. Hinduism becomes the predominant religion of ancient India, and it's based on this written tradition combined with the use of the caste system. Go ahead to the next slide. So, what is a golden age? We've been talking about it, but we haven't really defined it. And how do we go from where we are to the point where India is in its golden age? A golden age is a time in a specific culture when cultural advancements are at their highest point. This is when a civilization is doing its greatest stuff. And here's how we're going to get to India's golden age. The Maurya Empire, which is around from 323 BCE to 185 BCE, is going to be the empire that joins the Indus River Valley with the Ganges River Valley. This is a major step towards reaching the golden age of India. We're not quite there yet, but by joining these two regions, we've created a place where the golden age can occur. The golden age of India was during the Gupta Empire, which is from 320 to 550 CE. So if we look at a timeline, we see the Aryan invasion, 1500 BCE. That's the start of Indian civilization. We see the Mauryan Empire, 323 BCE to 185 BCE. That's a transition period. We're getting to the golden age. And then we have the Gupta Empire, 320 to 550 CE. That's the golden age of India. Go to the next slide. How do we know that the Gupta Empire is the height or the golden age of Indian civilization? Let's look at the evidence. The Gupta Empire developed a number system based on 10. We use that number system today. The empire is also where we have the advent of the concept of zero. So, the idea of zero and a number system 1 to 10 all come from the golden age of the Gupta Empire. We also have a flourishing of literature, lots of literature, stories and poems which are based on folktales and oral tradition are coming from this era. One is the Mahabharata. That is a story of two princes and their adventures during an epic Indian war. Finally, we have the development of medicine, mathematics, science, and astronomy, which includes the potential that the Earth revolved around the sun. That's it for this lecture, and I look forward to seeing you in class.